In this lesson, I also want to save the time of the message, when the message was created. And I want to show that to the user in a nice way. So what I'll do first is save the date, and then we'll look into how we're going to show that nicely. For what, we'll have to use an external package. And that gives us the opportunity to show how to do that and how to find packages. So whenever we insert a message, we so far are only saving the content. But I would also like to save another field. I'm going to call that field date. So what is it I'm going to save here? I'm just going to create a date JavaScript object. So this is a JavaScript object, and you can save them directly into Mongo. Mongo has support for dates. So now if I save something new, and we go into messages.find.fetch, and I find the very last one, see that now it has a date field that contains the whole date. So that's normally a JavaScript date object. Okay, so I want to display that in here now. That's something easy to do. We can just add it on our template. So just like we are showing content, I also want to show date. And for the elements that don't have a date, it's just undefined, so nothing is shown. For the ones that do have it, it's like this. Now, if you've ever worked with dates in JavaScript, you have to agree with me that it's not an easy thing, that it's always a bit of a hassle getting to show in the exact format that you want. Luckily for us, there is a really good Meteor package that allows you to easily work, format, and validate dates. This package is called Moment.js. So there's a website called atmosphere.js.com, which is the main package repository for Meteor. It's the official package repository. So whenever you come here, it'll show you what packages are trending, what packages are popular, and a lot of what you can do with Meteor. One of the reasons why it's so cool is just because of the huge community and awesome packages and support that you can find. So I'm going to search for Moment.js, and that will give me this one. This is the official one. And to add a new package, it's just you just have to type in Meteor add and the name of the package. So like this. Usually it's the author and then the actual name of the package. So if we copy that and we go to our terminal where we have our application running, you can either stop it, add the package and rerun it, or you can just open another terminal. In this case, I'm going to open another terminal, but on the same folder where we have our application. And I'm going to type in Meteor add Moment.js moment. So that's all it takes for the package to be added. Some popular packages you can find are Twitter Bootstrap for user interface. You can also find Angular, React integrations, and really packages for every single thing you can think of. A lot of them we'll be using in this course as well. Some are almost necessary. Okay, so we have now our Moment.js installed. That's how you install a new package. And as you can see, the app is doing the usual refresh because things changed. So nothing should look different at this point because we haven't used this part yet. So what we'll do now is create another helper that will show the date. So instead of putting the date raw like that, we are gonna formatted date. So I'm not sure if this has 1 T or 2 T's, but let's just keep it like that. So formatted date, and then inside of my listing helpers, I'm gonna add that as a helper. And this function. And now this is the interesting part. When we call a helper inside of an each loop, if we type in this, we get access to the object that's being iterated, like the current, that would be the context. So for example, if I type this, it will be the corresponding entry. So I can access the current date by typing in this .date. So if I do the console.log this.date, let's show it on the console. You'll see it will be empty for all of them, but undefined for all of them, but then we actually got the last one. So instead of doing that, what we'll do is return moment, and this .date in here. So we apply that moment method. We have this in our scope because we added the package. And then with .format, you can find different formats that you can apply. So let's take a quick look at the documentation so you can see what kind of formats you can have. So in Moment.js.com docs and then display, it shows you all these different formats, what kind of date, how you want it to be displayed. So let's just grab any of them, like this one. They'll show you Sunday 3 p.m. that kind of format. So that's the format we'll use. And see now, once this refreshes, well, it's assuming in that all of them are Friday 3 p.m. So this Friday 3 p.m. It's the ones that are empty. It's assuming that it's now, so that's what it's doing, which is fine. But maybe we want to show the minute just to see how they're not all exactly the same. So maybe just show this one like that, and let's try that again. So these ones are shown the current time, and that's shown the time that it has when we saved it. So we could even have something like return. So if there is this .date, return that. Otherwise, don't return anything, just an empty string. So that will just give us the only one we have. So to summarize, what we've done here, we added a second field to our insertion. So it's not just content now, it's also the date. And we are passing in a date object because that's something you can do in MongoDB. All right, so then when it comes to showing that, we use that as an excuse to add a new package. To add a new package, you have to go to the folder where your application is running. You can either stop it and then add it and then rerun it, or you can just add it, having it running in parallel. It will rebuild. So we just type Meteor add and the project, the package. Where do you find all these packages? They're all in here in atmosphere.js.com. That's the big atmosphere of packages, as it's called. So the one we used, Moment.js, it's a library to work and manipulate, validate dates in a very easy way. It reminds me of what you can do in PHP when it comes to dates. It's very easy. So as you can see, it can also do things like this. Like it can give you invalid date if you enter something that's not a date. All right, and as we learned, if it's empty, it means the current date. So we used a helper to call that in our HTML. The helper is like this. So you can it could be a property, but if it's not a property, it's gonna look for a helper. And then the helper itself, it has access to the context of the object. So it allowed us to check whether there was a date or not. If there was one, we called in moment, and if not, we just sent an empty string.